So we discussed yesterday the possibility of Deion Sanders going to Dallas and what the implications of that could potentially mean if it were to happen for Dak Prescott. And anytime we mention Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders, we get a ton of tweets like this. Steve, take tag board full. This one comes from Lee, who tweeted at myself, G. Bush, and Bull yesterday in relation to a clip on UCSS about Shedeur Sanders. Lee says, why are we doing this? I've even noticed on UCSS that this has been a conversation. Why is it when we know that Cleveland is not a destination, coupled with the fact that Dion will stand in the way of this happening? This is just one of the many tweets we get anytime Shedeur comes up. So I wanted to ask you guys, do you buy the rumors? And it's strictly just rumors. There's no reporting. Dion has said it's not even true. But do you buy some of the online speculation and rumors that Dion would potentially stop Shedeur from going to a certain place? And in this instance, Cleveland, considering they had the number 2 pick. Would Dion put an end to that?
The one thing I'd point out about that, when he was refuting those, when he was refuting the reports that he was going to stand in his way from going to the Giants or the Browns or wherever it was, he was still the coach, solidly the coach at Colorado, and there was no talk that he was going to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Correct.
Someone told me that knows Dion that when he first started down this coaching road, he had 2 jobs in mind, Florida State and the Dallas Cowboys. Well, I think the Dallas Cowboys is clearly within his grasp now. And we know that Dion wants his children around him. When he went to Colorado, obviously he brought his kids with him. So I wonder if he was held to truth serum right now, would he say that he's not going to behind the scenes manipulate some things to try to, if he becomes the Cowboys coach, he wants Shedeur as the Cowboys quarterback?
It's 2 different conversations.
It is 2 different conversations.
Whether Dion gets a job obviously it's more likely he'll try to stop it if he gets a job with Dallas. But if he doesn't take an NFL job, I think I've said, I don't think Dion's going to let him play here, but who knows? That's probably unfair to say. There's certainly a chance. The reality is the Eli Manning situation or, John Elway going to play baseball, those things are very rare. Now, this may be one of those cases. Obviously, the kid doesn't need the money, so Dion could play a role there. But I think when we're trying to decide, should the Browns draft him, ultimately, they'll have that information before they would make that pick.
Right.
And if they learn that's not the case, well, then obviously you have to seriously consider him. And I don't think the Browns should not consider Shedeur Sanders just because Dion's his dad. I think that's stupid.
It's too like the conversation around it, and I've said before, oh man, come on, man, Prime Man, what's the name, come here. I think when you say that, it's too surface level. So let's get to the real. Like when these things happen, and you are a player that is looked at as going to be the face of a franchise, these guys sit down in meetings. You get to know a person face to face. You talk to them about your who you are as a person, what your family goals are, what you are. And coaches and general managers talk to them who they are as a man, as a person. And these people all sit down and have conversations about life, what they view you as a player, and what it is that we're trying to do as an organization. So those conversations are all things that are yet to be had. They haven't even got to the pro days and stuff. So a lot of stuff Coach Prime say is he's a showman. He is where he is today because he is able to inspire people to get them to do things. He went from an HBCU to a Power 5 school. You don't do that.
And turn the program around at a Power 5.
Yes. You don't do that by being meek or shy or timid. You got to have bold visions, bold statements to get people to act, to get to that place. Like we said, he fast-tracked that in 2 years. And to be honest with you, he fast-tracked his son in 2 years. He went from Jackson State to he's going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. And he was right. And now he's the top 5 pick. So some of it, what he's saying, he's a showman. He's going to say that. But let's not get it twisted. These negotiations and these things that are going to happen within the next 2 or 3 months, that's going to be where you figure out who wants to do what and how you're going to move. I think that's Shedeur Sanders. If he's the guy that they want and the Cleveland Browns want to go do what they want to do and that they're going to draft him, they're not going to be worried about whether or not Dion is going to be like, oh, he's not playing here. Because guess what? They're going to have conversations with Dion, just like they had with Myles Garrett, who came away saying, we're closer than we thought. That's you see how those conversations tend to work a little bit.
Yeah, well, certainly if he's parroting that line, he believes that line. You know, he didn't come out and say, they didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. He came out and said, well, after further inspection, we're not as far away as I thought.
Yes.
Okay,
We'll have
that can be debated till the cows come home.
Yeah.
And it probably will be and should be.
Or was that the new contract coming up? That new big
maybe,
boy?
maybe.
I'd say so.
Jay, I have a
We'll save
question
that
for
another
you.
day.
In the modern day NFL,
Yeah.
and things have changed since Eli
Yeah.
made the power play to not go to the Chargers. There's also another thing that's changed, and that's that the NIL money, he's already a millionaire.
Right.
He's rich.
Where, you know, in the old days, these guys were poverty-stricken. They hadn't been paid yet. I wonder if that changes it. And I also wonder if Deion Sanders was to become the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's almost impossible for him to, behind the scenes, work it out to where he gets to draft his son. They'd have to move on from Dak at a huge number.
No,
at
they
a
wouldn't
time
have
when,
to move on. Why?
Why wouldn't they?
Well, they'd move
They keep him
because
as a,
you'd keep Dak for 1 year and then you'd move on.
Well, eventually you're moving on from Dak. If you're
Right.
if you're drafting the coach's son,
right, but
at number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
yeah, but they can't move on from Dak next year. They would.
That's the
move year
reality
after.
of it,
Yeah.
Bull. But also the writing is on the wall. That
Yeah. Yes. Eventually, yeah.
So I'm wondering, could he even power play himself into that situation?
To get Shadur to Dallas?
Yes.
I don't think at 12. I mean, at 12, you're probably going to have to move up. I think we all agree on that. Whether
Yeah.
it's 2 or I don't know. I don't know if these quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2 or not. I don't know. But certainly Dallas is going to have to get higher than 12 probably if they want to get there. And you know, you lose a lot of leverage if everyone knows what you're trying to do.
That's true.
But Dion already answered this question 7 years ago.
Take tag board full, Steve. That was a good setup, Jason. Dion said, I love what the Browns have done this offseason, but if I'm a young quarterback, ain't no way I'm going to Cleveland. I would pull an Eli Manning if possible.
Now, that was-
think about that. Hashtag truth.
That was in March of 2018 that he sent that. What has changed in the last 7 years to make you think that?
Nothing.
Nothing's
If
changed.
anything, it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse in terms of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So now, can he fully stop it? I don't know. Does he want him in Cleveland? No, I don't think he wants him in
Let's go
Cleveland.
to the first question. Is he going to end up as the Cowboys coach?
I say no.
I
I don't know why he would
Probably-
take that
probably
job.
not.
If
Well, he's expressed interest.
It doesn't make sense.
He said he was-
But Jerry Jones is the fate. Does everything there. You don't have any power as head coach.
You know, it's
there.
funny. Sometimes the media tries to talk things into existence.
Yeah.
I've been watching ESPN's coverage the last couple days of this story.
Yeah.
They are breaking their backs
They'll negotiate
to
the deal.
try to make this happen.
Yes, of course.
They
Oh,
are
yeah.
trying to talk this into existence from the first time the conversation was had on ESPN after McCarthy was, the mutual parting of ways.
Yeah.
From the first analyst that said, Dion would be a fit, and the pushback was, oh, no way, he can't go there. It'd be a 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
To now, everybody is saying this would be the greatest move in the history of coaching moves. Is there ever been a situation more tailor-made for Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders? I can make the argument there is no worse combination as those two, but in a weird way, I can also make an argument that this might be the one guy that Jerry respects enough that he says, it's all yours, kid. You don't think he can do that?
No.
He's 82?
Doesn't matter.
You don't think he can
came
do
out
that?
and said, I bought the team so I could be the GM. I'm the GM. I'll always be the GM.
That was the case 25 years ago.
That was the case 2 days ago.
But
He just said it a week ago.
But if he has the chance to get Dion,
Yeah.
and Dion tells him, I'll come, but Jerry, you're not allowed in the building.
I think Dion could be a great head coach.
I do too.
But he doesn't have the background to be a GM too. Like, how could you turn over full control of the organization?
No, you're not going to give it to him. The football stuff is Dion. The on-the-field football stuff is Dion. We're going to bring in a
Never gonna
top-name
happen.
general manager. You don't
Never
think so?
gonna happen. Not with Jerry.
Well, then I don't think this. I think this would fail at a George Steinbrenner,
Oh,
Billy
big time.
Martin level of spectacular.
By the way,
fail.
though, quickly sidebar shout out to Jerry Jones, who was on an episode of Landman, a new show on Paramount.
Show
Plus,
is
which is
great.
phenomenal.
And
The
he
show
was-
is phenomenal.
Have you seen the episode with him?
I saw the whole thing.
He was
yeah.
great.
He was great.
He's a better actor than he is a GM.
Yeah, he was great.
Bill Simmons
Isn't saying much, Bull.
This is all for nothing.
Asia Wilson, by the way, terrible actress in those commercials on yesterday during the Cavs game. She's awful.
I didn't see that.
Go ahead.
I think this is all for nothing. I actually think that Shedeur Sanders is going to go number 1. And I think we're talking about it's the Cam Ward. I don't think, and this is just me. If they're close and you're the Titans, which is more exciting?
Well, there's no question. Shedeur is going to bring more.
Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not saying they're just doing it to do it, but Shedeur Sanders gets you how many primetime games?
Well, I can tell you this: ESPN automatically hires a full-time Titans reporter. They're leading every NFL show.
And they've been an irrelevant
what's
franchise.
going on with Shedeur in Tennessee?
They are not. I think he goes number 1. Even if it's close skill set wise, he's going number 1. The Browns have to choose between Cam Ward or the best defensive player. I don't think he'll be there. And this is just how quickly things change, because I think the Shedeur conversation has even ramped up even more. Like, it was like, oh, he's not that good. Then people was like, I might take him in the top 2. Then it's like, he might be the number 1 pick. I think Tennessee takes him.
In terms of the original question, I do believe Dion would do what he could to keep it from happening. It happens all the time where agents tell teams in all sports, don't take my. It happened with the Cavs and Evan Mobley.
And they still take him.
Mobley's rep said, don't take him. And they took him, and look, and it's fine. And he just signed a massive extension, and he's playing the best ball of his career. So, and there have been other instances where it's worked. And Eli Manning is a great example of, he said, I ain't playing for you. You can take me if you want, but I'm sitting like I am not playing. And certainly, maybe the Manning name and the Dion name is enough juice to actually make that happen. I don't know. But if you give Dion a list of teams where Shadur could play, you think Cleveland's in the top 5?
No.
There ain't
Absolutely
no chance.
not.
There's
No,
chance.
but what's funny is all the teams that need quarterbacks are not great situations.
At all.
No, they never are.
Yeah.
They're picking first for a reason.
And
they suck.
I will say this, though. There is something, maybe y'all out there like me with certain things like this. It's something to be said for somebody who comes to you, and even if they was horrible before, or even if the job ain't perfect, or even if it ain't the greatest of circumstances, you heard things. It's different when a person comes to you and say, hey, we need you.
You never know.
You start to think no. Deshaun Watson won you. I'll tell you why Deshaun Watson won you, and here's what we're gonna do with you. This is why we.
Yeah.
And for Kevin Stefanski, he'll have a lot of pull, because he can literally say, there was Baker here. I didn't choose Baker. There was Deshaun here. It was an organizational decision, but I'm choosing. Here's what I see for you.
Yeah, that could have some real meaning.
It has some meaning. And by the way, when you fall in love with something, you already heard you can't help who you fall in love with. Try telling the dude you can't marry somebody.
Oh, I know. You were told that. What'd you do?
Try telling your daughter she's not marrying that guy.
You might as well plan the wedding right then and
right there. You listen.
So
Although it went bad after that.
Let's rubber meet the road this. We'll go around the horn. We'll do it quickly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You drafted him? Shedeur Sanders.
Yes.
If he's there?
You drafted him?
If I think he's the best guy available, yeah.
Yeah, if he's there and we need a quarterback and they like him, the scouts pan out, I'll take him.
So imagine 20 years ago, somebody could have said, in 20 years, one of the greatest athletes ever to play this sport is going to have a son who appears to have a high degree of athleticism and has succeeded at the most important position in the sport at a high level. I think if you didn't know that player's name was Deion Sanders, you would say, well, yeah, I want him. And I find myself saying, I don't want the Dion drama, but I want to see what this kid can do. And I think it's incredibly intriguing. And his what is working right now in the NFL? Lamar Jackson is working.
Yep.
Josh Allen is working.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels is working.
Yep.
And on
Bo
and
Nix
on
work.
and on. And can he run? Check.
Yep.
Can he throw?
Yep.
Check. Is he an athlete? Check. He's got pedigree. I think
And he had
he's
no
smart.
talent around him in college except for Hunter.
Right. I think this might be one of those moves where if you don't take him, 3 years down the road, we're Josh Allening this all over again. Say, well, we could have taken him, but we didn't because we were afraid of his dad, and now look at him. He's the second coming of Lamar Jackson.